Hello, Bridge. How are you doing? We're going to continue the math talk through the COVID-19 school closure. Let's look at another example. We also talked about finding exponential equations that go through 2 points. And usually we've been using one where one of our points is the y-intercept, and where another point is just another point, and that's going to help us later. All right. With this y-intercept, we know that this has to be our initial value. And we also know that every equation can be written in the form y equals a times b to the power of x. That thing is not going away, all right? So if our initial value is where x equals 0, then that means that our a value has to be this 3. Okay, so that's already step 1. I know that the equation that goes through these 2 points has to look something like y equals 3 times b to the power of x. And that what we also talked about is this second point is going to help us later. We know that this equation has to go through both points, so this point has to be like a solution to this line, to this graph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in these values. I know that I have a y value of 96, so I'm going to say 96 equals 3 times b, because that's what we want to solve for. And then I have an x value of 5, so I'm going to plug in 5 into this thing. And now this is an equation that I can solve for b. So let's do that. I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides to get rid of that 3. 96 divided by 3, it will get you 32 equals, and then what's left is just b to the 5th power. To get b by itself, to get rid of this exponent of 5, we have to do the inverse, which is taking the 5th root on both sides. So I'm going to take the 5th root of 32, and also the 5th root of b to the 5th power. Well, 5th root and 5th power are going to cancel each other out, and I'm just left with b equals, and then the 5th root of 32, you can plug that into your calculator. We talked about how to do that. It's just going to be 2, and that's just because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 equals 32. All right? So now we know what our b value is. We already talked about what our a value. Now we can just kind of construct this equation. I've got y equals, we have this a value of 3 times, and then my growth factor of 2. Y equals 3 times 2 to the power of x, and that is our answer. Let's give it a nice little highlight. Woohoo! Check it out. All right. Wonderful, wonderful.